Hello everyone, welcome. Akhilesh, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, welcome Akhilesh and welcome all. And Akhilesh is the host. He's going to lead the session, and we have experienced corporate professional from Sydney, Shamik, and we have Odessa. Akhilesh, you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, is my mic working?
Okay, yeah, great. I can hear you.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. All right,
Okay.
can you hear you? Odessa?
Hello.
Yeah,
Good
hi.
morning, good afternoon.
Yep, we got a couple of minutes. We can have some introductions if you like. We can turn on the cameras so we can see each other. Akhilesh, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Vikram. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session. We'll be starting shortly. Maybe before we begin, would the lead like to introduce themselves? So, Odessa, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sorry, I think cut out. Hi, everyone. I'm Odessa. I'm a student at the moment at the University of Technology, Sydney. And I've been meditating for 3 years now. I did also meditate when I was younger, but I stopped for a long time. And I didn't fully understand the way it could help me when I was younger. I didn't understand that it was helping me. So I had to kind of stop to realize and appreciate it. And hopefully you'll all know what I'm talking about by the end of the session. And yeah, we'll just be going through a simple meditation. And Akhilesh, what do you do?
I'm also a student. I am currently in mechatronics engineering, and I kind of grew up doing this meditation. My parents introduced it to me when I was really young, and basically this meditation helps me balance sometimes the very extreme ends of engineering. So I'm here to share with all of you and to give you a new perspective on how to manage with stress and anxiety.
Yeah, it definitely helps with that.
And let's hear from Shamik.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. It is midday in Sydney, where I am currently located. And for folks on the East Coast, I used to be on the East Coast of the United States. Actually, Vikram and I share a little bit of heritage. We were both in the central part of Florida at one point in our careers several years ago. So I found Sahaja Yoga meditation, this form of meditation that we are here to explore today, about 20 years ago when I was an engineering student, much like Akhilesh. So I totally sympathize. Mechanical engineering can drive you crazy at times. And I was definitely looking for a way to find some clarity and a way to absorb all that information and all those concepts. But that was a long time ago. Since then, in the 20 years past, managed to go on to becoming a working professional, worked in different capacities in the technology space, got married, I'm father of 2 kids today. And all along this journey, I would have to say, Sahaja Yoga meditation has been an incredible gift. It's helped me find resilience and peace and harmony through moments of stress and challenge and tension. So I'm really excited to be here with all of you and be part of this meditative journey and maybe share a few stories as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Akhilesh. And I think we can hear back from participants. Please share your expectations. Let us know about yourself. We're just going to wait for a couple of minutes for more folks to join. So yeah, let's hear from yourself. I can see Amina back. Amina attended the last session as well. Welcome back, Amina. And for a moment, let's try to unmute everyone. There might be some background noises. Please bear with us. Yeah, okay. So let's hear from the participants. Please let us know a little bit about yourself, and we start in a couple of minutes. Okay. Put your things in the chat window and you can ask questions. Are you the only one in your class who is meditating, or you have some other friends who are meditating as well?
At my uni specifically, or
Yeah,
general?
uni, friend circle.
Yeah, I know quite a few people that do, and also other engineers and people working in the film industry, people in design, just all kind of walks of life. And you can definitely tell that they use this in everyday situations to get through, and it can help with interacting with people. It can help when you're on your own, like we have been mostly this year with COVID. It's a way to kind of find who you are in a way where you don't need anything else, anything kind of finite in your life, like the people around you or the things that, I don't know, kind of are superficial. You don't need those to keep going. You actually just find peace within yourself. And yeah, I would
Great.
say definitely helps everyone around me that does it.
Great. So let's welcome again Michelle, Amina, Karen, uh, Andrea, Angel, Angelica, Anna. Please share where you're joining us from. Good to have this really a global students workshop. Brittany, Karen, Chels, Helen back. Helen, welcome back from Ottawa. Ivan with a Czech name. Jesus, Julia, Karen, Kay, Inguli, Kiara, Lisa, Manuel, Ramarao, S, Sandra, Sharissa from Atlanta, Tiffany, and Tusieta. A lot of people here. I wish we can talk to everyone, and we'll try to do that towards the end of the session here. And Tusieta from Singapore, welcome. All right, so I think we can get started here, and welcome once again. So what are we going to do today?
So I'll take you through the realization process, and it will be quite straightforward. We'll say some affirmations and slides will help guide you through. I will try and show you the movements with my hands. Generally, we use the right hand to do everything, and we'll use a right hand to go from our lower hip on the left side and then raise it up to the top of our head. So these affirmations take you into the state of thoughtless awareness, which is the main goal of this meditation. We don't need you to do any kind of exercise or read any books. Like I said before, this is all about the kind of essence of who you are. And that's what we're trying to awaken in this realization process. And you'll find this kind of infinite peace from that. Of course, sometimes you don't get this straight away. And the more that you practice the meditation, the more you'll find the techniques to kind of smooth out the process and know what you're doing. So Sahaja meditation is free of charge, as it's something quite spiritual. So why would you pay for it? It's not something we're manufacturing. This is something born with us. And it's been kind of shown throughout many countries all over the world, I think over 90 countries, by Shri Mataji Devi, the founder, who came from India and studied medicine for a long time. So after the introductions, of course, and then we'll just quickly go through these. And yeah, so Shri Mataji founded Sahaja Yoga, and she was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize twice, I think in 1997 one time, could be wrong, granted the UN Peace Medal, and honored by the US Congress, many governments and international institutions. You can look up further information on her online, and she has many, many talks. She spent much of her later life after having children dedicating her life to humanity. So she was primarily a humanitarian and wanted to find a way out of the problems we face as modern people. And I definitely feel she succeeded. So why meditate? Definitely improves focus of brain function, relieves stress, cures imbalances, and gives you balance. So this is if you're very depressed, or you're very angry, or you don't feel many emotions at all. As a friend recently told me, she's kind of relearning how to feel emotions. but sometimes you feel absolutely way too many, which was more my case. And this meditation gave us both the balance of life, really. Just a little quote. Of course, this comes from Zen, and that philosophy of Zen is integrated within this. You'll find many philosophies of different religions and teachers will integrate with this. And it's all about this achieving this inner peace, which is at the core of most religions, and definitely Zen. So if we can go on to the next one, we won't be doing chanting. We won't be kind of repeating a phrase or a mantra. We won't be focusing deeply on anything at all. So it's not like mindfulness. The affirmations are merely just to guide you to thoughtlessness. You don't have to repeat them over and over and over again. Sometimes there will be some repetition. It really depends what you need. So it's not like some other meditations that you may have done before. And if it's your first time, don't worry, you don't need to know anything previously. So Sahaja means born with you. It's in Sanskrit, and yoga means union. And like I was saying about this kind of essence, there's many things you can call this. In Sanskrit, it's the Kundalini, and it's something that you're born with, much like this peace that you can achieve with Sahaja Yoga. It's just a tool to something that's natural within you. And that's really the union is what's happening when you're meditating. So the spirit is this pure energy which I was talking about. It can't be destroyed, it's eternal. And the Kundalini is personal to you. It's a bit different because it kind of records your life, and your spirit is just this energy which all living things have. And Kundalini is something specific to humans, and it records who you are, what you've done, and it has the power to bring about this union with your spirit. And I think it would be better if we just do the meditation rather than me explaining. So like I said before, it's from Sanskrit. So I think we could just do the meditation now, and you'll kind of feel this rather than having to believe me, because I kind of stopped because I didn't believe in the kind of written down text of everything. I wanted to feel something change within me. So we can just put our hands out, and you can approach this like a scientist with an open mind. Just take a nice deep breath and make sure you're comfortable. If you have glasses on or shoes, you can take those off. It's fine if you're sitting in a chair or on the ground. And again, we'll just take a deep breath and kind of hold that for a little bit, and then breathe out slowly. And do this a few times, and without forcing too much, just try and hold it when you breathe out, and try and hold it when you breathe in. And we can all close our eyes while we do this. So now I'll take you through the self-realization process, which involves moving your hand up your body. And if you can see on this little drawing here, this has the affirmations underneath. and also demonstrates where you'll be moving your hand. So first we go from the heart down, and then we go back up to the top of our head. So now we'll just take our right hand and put it on our heart, closing our eyes, and breathe in again. Try and hold this. And breathe out. We ask this energy, which we'll refer to as Mother. Mother, am I the spirit? We can move our hand to the top of our rib, the bottom beneath your rib, and this is on the left side. And here we ask, am I my own master? Mother, am I my own master? Now move your hand down to your hip. And you can kind of press in here and keep your palm closer to your abdomen. And we can ask, please give me the pure knowledge. Is this the pure knowledge? Now raising our hand back to our rib. And we say with full confidence, I am my own master. I am my own master. Raise our hand up to our heart. And again, with full confidence, I am the pure spirit. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, not these thoughts of the past or the future. I am the pure spirit. Now turning our head to the right, we can expose our neck and put our hand onto our shoulder where it meets the neck. And just squeeze this where the muscle is. And say, I am not guilty. I am not guilty of anything. How can I be guilty if I'm the spirit? Now we can put our hand on our forehead and just lean your head into your hand and then push up with your hand. And put your fingers into your temples a little bit. And without thinking of anything specific, we'll say, Mother, I forgive everyone. I forgive. I forgive everyone, including myself. And now we can put our hand on the back of our head and lean back into our hand. So our head is towards the sky. And we ask this Kundalini, this mother, please forgive me for anything I've done, knowingly or unknowingly, against you. And finally, we'll put our palm just as flat as we can, firmly onto the top of our head, and rotate this 7 times with our fingers outstretched. And you can tilt your head down towards your chest and just rotate slowly and firmly. And ask, Mother, please give me my self-realization. We can put our hand down and meditate for a little bit, keeping our hands flat on our lap. And it helps to have your eyes closed and try and keep your attention on top of your head. If any thought is coming to your mind, just say, I forgive. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Just take note of how you feel after the meditation compared to the start. See if your thoughts are any different, if you physically feel different, if your emotions have calmed down. And so there's a longer gap between your thoughts, even if they haven't stopped. And this will be your proof if this works. We also have a short talk from the founder, Shri Mataji, and she always expresses the point of this meditation most clearly, I find. And if you kind of stay in meditation while you're listening to her, it helps keep an open mind, and you can fully understand what she's saying. I think it goes for 10-11 minutes, and we can listen to that now. We have it. Do we have a video? Thanks, Akash. Okay, everyone, just enjoy and keep your hands out as you watch.
And come to our centers where realization can be given. There are many centers we have got. You don't have to pay any money, nothing, but you come and relax. Relaxation is only possible after self-realization, not before. You'll be surprised your aging will stop. I have no aging problem. My husband also has no aging problem. We don't think of it. It's over. Now, whenever one has to die, one will die. But till then, we are not bothered. Anything that you do will have a special light of the divine. I bless you from my heart that you develop these subtleties within yourself, and you try to understand that so far you have not known yourself. You have to know yourself. You don't have to introspect and sit down criticizing yourself, feeling guilty. No, not at all. Whatever has happened has happened. Because you'll be amazed at yourself that all your destructive habits also will drop out by themselves. Overnight in London, there were 12 boys with the addiction of drugs. They stopped overnight. Overnight. I never told them. I never tell people, don't. I never say that. But that Kundalini rises, and the light of your heart, light of the spirit, that guides you. That tells you what is destructive for you. And you have power not to accept anything that is destructive. I know there are difficulties. I know there are problems, but you will never see them. If you are sitting in a boat, you are not bothered as to how deep the sea is. It's like that. You rise above all these things and you watch and you help others. Apart from that, it helps you in your work, very much in your work. You understand your work very well because of torsion area again. My husband says, how do you get this idea? I said, got it. All right, this is the idea I've got. Now, he's amazed sometimes how I manage things, how I'm doing. I have no secretariat, I have no secretary, I have not PA, nothing. And we are working in 86 countries. So it is just works out because it is this divine power which is so helpful, which is so kind. So again and again, I wish you best of luck. Please come to our centers. I hope they'll give you the addresses and all that. And you can come on Saturdays or Sundays, whenever you want to, and get your relaxation. May God bless you.
Shri Mataji, they're requesting if you can give them self-realization.
You see, there is one thing that one feels very guilty for, I don't know, that's our temperament, I think. We feel guilty. Oh, I've done this, I've been doing this, how will I get realization? So, first of all, you don't have to feel guilty at all. Forgive yourself and then forgive others. Just these two things can you manage? Just to say, I forgive everyone. Now they say that very difficult whether to forgive. So the argument is like this, whether you forgive or don't forgive, what do you do? But when you don't forgive, then you torture yourself for the person who has harmed you. So I request you just to say, I forgive everything, Mother, I forgive everyone.
Thanks, everyone. So let us know any experience you had, and you can share it in the chat. Like Shri Mataji was saying, you can find yourself unable to really face or even know what your problems are. And what really convinced me to start doing this meditation again was the way that it gave me the power to actually not want the things that were problematic in my life. I think the power to actually control yourself is kind of underrated. I don't know how much we really discuss how important that is. Like, you can change everything about your life if you can change how you feel about it. And there's things that I didn't think I would ever be able to stop doing. I thought I would have to live with certain problems for the rest of my life and just work my way around it. And many people have to take medication for these types of things or constantly go to therapy. And it doesn't seem natural to me. I thought, well, humans have been on this earth for such a long time. Figuring it out, you shouldn't have to live in this state of suffering. There should be a logical way to stop yourself from suffering. And I 100% found that in this. I tried so many things. There's so many things out there that's like self-help, and this is what you can do, and this is how you should live, and if you cut this out, it'll work. But it's like, but I still fundamentally want to live in this way that's hurting me. So how could I possibly change that? It's kind of like, that's who I am, but it really wasn't. It was like a crust on the surface. And when I'm in this meditation, it all just melts away. Those things do not matter. And even if something bad is happening to me or something good, you can be in that state. And I really hope that you all felt the benefit of that today. And we'd love to hear what you felt and what you experienced. If you felt anything on your hands or on your head. I didn't actually remember to say that you can take your hand to the top of your head and just feel with your palm if there's anything happening. You can close your eyes and try and be in that thoughtless state as you feel. You can do this with your other hand. And just let us know in the chat. And if it didn't work at all, let us know. I think Shamik and Akhilesh were going to share a little bit more. I'm not sure about their experiences. And if no one has any questions, we'll just do that.
Yeah, I think we should we should let the participants talk about how they felt during the self-realization process, and then let's go through the 3-step balancing, and then after that we should all have a more of a discussion about how we felt overall. So I'm getting messages that the chat is still disabled. I'm just working on that, but we would like to hear from you. How did you feel? Obviously mentally, emotionally, and physically. So please share with us.
And then we can continue onto the meditation. There's also a chart that shows the Kundalini within you and what's happening if you're imbalanced. Say if you're feeling very angry or unemotional, or if you're feeling quite depressed. This chart is called the chakra chart. And when we do the 3-step balancing, this will take you more into the center. So as you can see, the yellow side would be associated with the future and planning about the future. If you do a lot of physical or mental activity, if you read a lot, if you have a degree like engineering, you'll find your right side is taking you more into the future. And this can produce certain difficulties. And you want to try and do these balancing techniques. So with this one, you'll put your left hand towards the sky. And then for the other side, the left side, we'll put our right hand towards the earth. So the opposite side is balancing for whatever problem is going on within you. The left side is more the past. You'll constantly be stuck on your memories if you're in this state, and you may be very over emotional. You could have nightmares, many things associated with this. And through the center of the 7 energy centers, the chakras, so through human evolution, we'll see these changes in consciousness coming through these chakras. And the Kundalini is what kind of integrates all of these at the top, where you see all the colors of the chakras. This will be the Sahasrara chakra. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this chart. It's just the technique will be a little bit different, and maybe some of the kind of meanings behind the chakras, like innocence and wisdom, peace and void in the void, so that's your stomach, and so on up to the top of the head. And so if you don't forgive people, it can manifest as the opposite, as you're being really vengeful. If you don't have any love and compassion in your heart, then of course the opposite will manifest in your heart, where you deeply hate everyone. And I would say the spirit is what is enlightened when your Kundalini comes up and it kind of ignites it like a string to the top of your head. And this is when you can feel meaning in the world through when you meditate. And this meaning is quite hard to describe. It's really something you just feel in that silence. So Angel said, really feel much more balanced and calm. Made some really great points when you spoke about your personal experience. Thanks, Angel. Amina felt very relaxed. Biggest notice was my mind not racing. I was at ease. And Lisa, I feel calmer. I have a feel of what would consider lightheaded and airy. Yeah, definitely. I think there was a poet that described when she read a good poem, she felt the top of her head would open and a breeze would come out. And I think even in the Quran, they say your hands will speak, and there's the Holy Ghost and this idea of cool air in quite a lot of different ancient texts. Felt comfortable, warmth where my hand was, and stayed a bit after the hand moved up or down. So the warmth will indicate what you need to balance. The cool is what's already in balance. So when we do this 3-step balancing, just see if the warmth moves around. See if it moves up or down, or if it goes away completely. And this is your guide. So your hands tell you what's really going on within you. And it's also intuition. You know, of course, if you're very emotional. So it's half common sense and half the technique of Sahaja Yoga. So we could do that now if you're all happy to continue. So these little illustrations will show you the balancing again. And we'll start with the left side and then go to the right side. So for each, use the opposite hand to clear. So we'll close our eyes again and just breathe in to settle our attention, and hold it and then breathe out. Now we begin with both our hands on our lap. Now we put our right hand to the ground. And ask Mother, please take away all the excess emotions. Please take away the effects of the past. Please balance my left side. Now we can put our hand on our lap. We'll balance the right side by putting our left hand towards the sky. Mother, please take away all the excess planning and excess thinking. Please take away all the heat within my body. Please balance my right side. Now we can put our hand on our lap. For the central channel, we can ask Mother Kundalini, please keep me in the center. Please take away any catches on my central channel. Please establish my self-realization. Now, because I can feel on this finger on the left side, which is this chakra, I'm just going to say we can put our hand here again and say, I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty of anything at all. I'm a pure spirit. We can take our hand, again the right hand, from the base of our spine in front of us and just raise it upwards slowly to the top of our head. We can do this 3 times. See if your attention can follow the movement of your hand, going through each chakra up to the top of your head. And when done, you can press your hand to the top of your head. Putting it down, we'll just do a short meditation in silence. Again, if any thoughts come, just say, I forgive. I'm not these thoughts. And we can open our eyes again and see what difference you feel in your hands and in your state, physical, mental, or emotional. And just let us know in the chat. So these chakras that go through our system to the top of our head, they correspond on your hands. And if you see the chart again, there's the colors correspond to your fingers, and they'll be left and right side. And that's how you read yourself. As you can see here, this can take some time to get used to, but don't worry about that. If you just want to practice the meditation, you can do it at home anytime. And if it helps, you can go outside and try. And you just can do the affirmations and just try and achieve this state of thoughtless awareness. You can do it for 5 to 10 minutes or longer if you want. I personally will do this morning and evening. And when I was starting again, I had like this trial period, you could say, where I tried it for a week. And I thought, if this doesn't do anything for me significantly, then I'll stop doing it. And here I am 3 years later. So I would recommend doing a trial. And just don't do anything else, like cut out any other style of meditation you might be doing, so it doesn't kind of confuse the results. And yeah, hope to see you back. Send any questions you have if anything was unclear, or if anything worked out or didn't work out. Just let us know in the chat. Oh yeah, the affirmations are online. You can also look up Sahaja Yoga realization or the process, and you'll be able to find it. If you also want to turn on your camera and your mic, feel free to discuss.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this session here. So just sharing some resources. One of the websites we have, this is vmeditate.com. Please have a look at that. Now, the idea of these two workshops was just to give an idea and flavor. I hope you enjoyed the moments of peace. Let's hear a little bit from Shamik, who has been peaceful for the last 20 years since he has been meditating. He's in a corporate world, experienced professional. Just a Shamik, like quick 5 minutes talking about your experience in corporate world and how meditation is helping you out.
Yeah, sure, Vikram. And just a quick insight for all of us. Vikram and I have known each other about 10 years now. And like I said earlier, we both worked and lived in the central part of Florida in the United States for a few years. He was in the Tampa Bay area when I wasn't there, and then I moved there. I went to, just a little bit of a background around myself. It was August of 2001, a month prior to 9/11. I don't think I'll need to introduce 9/11. That's been etched into human consciousness forevermore. So a month prior to that, I landed in New Jersey International. I was headed for a graduate program in advertising, of all things. In the fall of 2001, I was going to start the graduate degree. And 9/11, I still remember walking onto campus. I was at Syracuse University. And I remember everyone was watching the same thing. It was one of those rare moments in time where everybody's streaming the same content. And it was that shocking image of the towers collapsing. But long story short, in the last 20 years, for those of us who've been in the professional space in some form of or capacity, we've been through the economic collapse of 2001. That was one major economic contraction. 2008 was another significant, potentially one of the largest recessions in the history of the civilized world. And then, of course, now we are working through our way through a pandemic, which does not seem to have an expiration date, although I would really wish that there would be one. So the long and short of it is that I think we have been forced to learn the essence of resilience. And how do we bounce back from difficult circumstances? How do we adapt? How do we figure out a way to make the most? When life gives you lemons, how do you turn it into lemonade? That is a skill that we've been forced to refine and adapt to over and over again, at least 3 major times in my short career. And in the space that I work in, so Vikram and I both work in the technology space, and we're in the business of shaving seconds, right? So we are always trying to accelerate process. I mean, you think about what we are doing right now. We're live streaming. We're in about 10 different locations. We are participants from all over the world. I can tell you that when I started my career, some of these resources didn't exist. They literally did not exist. Zoom was nowhere to be found. In fact, fun fact is I used to use a web collaboration tool called WebEx. And WebEx was the original web collaboration platform. And one of the guys who used to work at WebEx, he felt that he could do it better. He broke off and he started Zoom. This is 20 years back. But essentially what has happened is that processes and systems have become incredibly faster. The problem with that is that those of us who are involved in that industry, in that technological revolution that has taken place in 20 years, we've been trying to keep up with that pace, and we've probably started to hit some outer limits. That if we are trying to keep up with the machines essentially have become faster. In some ways, they've become faster than we are. As we all know, the artificial engines, they can take on some of the best chess players in the world and beat them today. So the ability for an artificial intelligence algorithm to perform calculations is much greater. However, what a robot or an AI bot cannot replicate is empathy, something that Odessa mentioned, that we are human beings And we essentially believe in the human experience, and an essential part of that process is compassion. And that's not something that, at least to my knowledge, the AI bots have not quite figured out how to experience and transfer or transmit empathy or compassion. And at the heart of Sahaja Yoga meditation, something that Shri Mataji, the founder of Sahaja Yoga meditation, emphasized over and over again, at the heart of it all is love. That the vibrations and all of the fancy jargon that we've been using through this session, at the core of it all is love. That we have this incredible reserve of love in our hearts, which tends to get shrouded or confused or warped or skewed in some form or fashion because of our experiences, because we are perceiving the world around us through our own unique lens. And sometimes we just need to take the glasses off and clean the lens. And the way to clean the lens is meditation. The way to rejuvenate, regenerate, and replenish ourselves to be able to feel this flow of love. If the universe could be seen as an ocean of love, and that we are living in that ocean, to be able to feel that ocean of love, we need to clean the lens from time to time. And for those of us who have been part of this movement started by Shri Mataji, we would have to say that that process of cleaning the lens should be at least twice a day. I can tell you that when I first started, I was an engineering student, was a sophomore, and most of it, this did not make any sense to me. I accompanied a friend, went to some meditation lessons, and probably fell asleep every single time. I think most of you have done much better. You've actually stayed awake, at least I think you have. And some of you have had great experiences. I didn't. It took me quite a while. It took me several sessions of falling asleep and realizing that sleep does not equate to meditation. And hey, yeah, as Odessa mentioned, it took her 7 days. It took me a lot longer. She's obviously a much better student of meditation than I am. That's for sure. But yeah, I have to pat myself on the back and say, hey, I persisted. Because one of the things that the culture in the eastern part of the world emphasizes is that we need to be persistent. We need to be patient with ourselves, that good things take time. You know, if you have to have a good cup of coffee, you need to spend some time brewing it. And meditation is somewhat similar. It takes time to brew that ultimate cup of coffee. So be patient would be my recommendation. Give yourself that time, give yourself that love.
What you say about love, I remember I was definitely a nihilist. I don't think I really believed in love. It's such an abstract thing, right? And it sounds, from what you see in media, it sounds like just romance, I guess. But I genuinely came to terms with what love actually is after meditating for a while. I was quite resistant to that. That took me a while. Because I was like, well, what does that mean? What is that? Isn't it like, it's always just obsession. People don't really love each other. You know, I was quite dark about it all. And
yeah, and
you
that's
can see
no,
that it's
no
healing.
surprise. Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's actually something healing. You don't have to be completely attached to something to love it. And that's such an Eastern philosophy, right? Like in Zen, of course, and in Indian philosophy, love is very, very different. And I feel English
And
doesn't
I have to
encompass.
say, Odessa, also in the business context, this is something that we have encountered. Because I'm quite fascinated with management thinking and what makes people tick, right? We're going through this massive process right now where people are really thinking about why they work, why they love, how they live, because we've had all kinds of losses and grief, and we're dealing with a lot of separation and anxiety. And one of the things that we are talking about in the workplace is what really makes us tick? What is the ultimate incentive? And I know when I was in grad school for advertising, we used to talk about the various human emotions. What has really triumphed is fear. If you look at most advertising, it's fear. It's either fear or lust. Those are the principal emotions that are engineered to be able to sell product, to move product. We were always told in grad school that, hey, advertising, this is not a romantic pastime. You're here to move product. You're here so that somebody can hear that cha-ching of that cash register. Cash needs to flow. Somebody needs to swipe the card and buy something. So the human emotion that can be engineered very easily is you can make someone afraid, you can make someone feel lust. So those are the two emotions that are generally engineered. But to appeal to the higher emotions, to appeal to, as we say in the context of meditation, the sahasrar, for an individual to feel that sense of consciousness, it's a little more difficult. And it really takes the individual's personal desire. The individual has to feel that there is more to life than just this body, this mind, these emotions. I live, I eat, I date someone, we have kids, and then it's the end of the road. There has to be something more than that. And when that desire gets amplified, that there has to be something more than that, the Kundalini kind of sets it alight in a very gentle, of course, gentle, non-invasive way. It doesn't set us on fire, fortunately. And in a very peaceful, non-invasive way, Kundalini helps us explore ourselves and love ourselves more in a much more meaningful way. But I've rambled a lot. I like to chat a lot, so I'll zip up at this point and let Vikram guide the conversation.
Thank you, Arun. Lovely discussions on love. I mean, someone has some alternate definitions of love. Please share it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. But thank you, Shamik, also for sharing your experiences. The idea was just not to just get peaceful, relaxed, but also see how this qualities that we have, the fine qualities through meditation, how can it help us in the workplace, So thank you for sharing your feedback, Shamik. I have a few things to add, but before that, some announcements before everyone wants to drop out. So thank you, everyone, for being lovely participants in the two workshops we had. We had to just to give you another opportunity in case you miss or you wanted too much to do it once more. So this is what we have. Now, how do we go from here? We do have actually an upcoming 21 days session. In case you are available, you can join this 21 days of meditation. Now, why do we do it for 21? 21 days is a great way to establish a new habit. So this is the link. I'm just sharing it in the chat window. Please bookmark. This starts from 5th of March and it's going to be 8:45 p.m. Eastern time every day. So for folks in friends in Australia, it might be working day. So considering that we also have a YouTube recordings, in case you cannot join live, there's going to be daily recorded sessions and everything you need, all the resources will be there in one page. So please bookmark this one. Also, I'll share what the groups we have, WhatsApp group, just to build this community and give you a heads up about what's going to happen next. So I'll share the chat link for this one. Give me a moment and you can join the WhatsApp group. We just build a nice community and a little bit of socialization before we get started over there. So I'll share that particular WhatsApp group link. So here's the link. You want to email? Okay, that's fine actually. Lisa, you can share email ID. Also share this in case you prefer email. I'll do that. So I share the WhatsApp group and you can join this one. And please bookmark the URL, the link. And this is the only link you need, freemeditation.com.au/March 2022. Everything you need is going to be here. The Zoom link and the YouTube recordings, all the handouts, everything is going to be here. All right, so thank you all. If you have any feedback, kind words, not so kind words, please share. I'd love to hear from everyone. I think just a couple of things to add up, from corporate perspective. And that's a question I really want to ask everyone. How do you wash off your emotions? We live in a very politically correct world, which means we cannot express ourselves quite freely. You have to be very guarded, which means all your emotions stayed pent up inside you. So, I mean, if you want to tell, maybe I know how we do that as Sahaja Yoga practitioners. We do footwork, we do meditations, and that kind of, takes care of our emotions. But that emotional health is a pretty important topic. I don't know how people are doing, what that you do to manage your emotions. Thank you, Julia, for your kind feedback. Also, I mean, if you like, you can unmute yourself. Let me just unmute everyone for a moment. See if you can join the conversations. The session is complete. I'll share the resource. I'll also be emailing the recording. In fact, the website we have for this course, it has a recording. You can go there. So today's session will be streamed to the YouTube channel over there. Let me just share it over here. Thank you, Michelle. for kind feedback. Okay, so this is the source page we had. So the YouTube is going to be here. And someone having problem. Julia, okay. Okay, yeah, you can unmute yourself, please. Hi, Julia. Thank you, Julia, for participating. Michelle, we want to hear from you as well. Start your cameras.
Hi. I'm laying down right now. It's kind of late here. I've had a long day. It's snowing. It's like a storm outside.
Mhm.
And but this was really nice, relaxing, almost to relax. I sat up for the meditation parts. I just laid down when you guys started talking.
Yeah, I guess talking not so exciting. All right. Thank you. All right. And let's all hear from Julia. Julia, how was your experience today?
I wanted to ask you because I will be, of course, reading. I will be doing my research, but I practice for the past 3 years yoga nidra. And before I was just practicing, I guess, more traditional kinds of meditations. And this is very interesting. I'm just trying to understand, is it spirit and body meditation? It's just something very new for me. So I'm just curious, how would you maybe describe it?
Right. So the meaning of the word nidra is sleeping. And for someone who slept off very often in the beginning of Sahaja Yoga meditation, I think we'll let Shamik answer that question. Shamik,
Yeah, sure. Nidra is very close to my heart, Julia. I probably mentioned it was uncanny. I would go to this session. A friend of mine had invited me, so I would go to this weekly meditation seminar, and I would consistently fall asleep. And I had finally asked someone, "Okay, I feel very relaxed. I fall asleep. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?" And that person then explained that there is some disturbance on the emotional side, which is pulling me. The general explanation was it's kind of good, but it's definitely not meditation. So in meditation, one way to describe or one way to illustrate what exactly is the state of meditation is a condition of heightened awareness, where you are not asleep, you are not mesmerized, you are fully in the present state. Your consciousness is as sharp as it possibly can be. You're relaxed, but you're alert. Now that in the workplace is gold, as Vikraman would know very well. It's very difficult to be relaxed and alert at the same time. You typically need some kind of stimulant to be very alert, which takes you away from some level of relaxation. So that's the gift of this happening, which is Kundalini. And the research that I've done, I can tell you that the chart that Odessa had shared earlier, Akhilesh had shared earlier, that chart is actually a remarkable radical gift, because you may find depictions of the various chakras that talk about the physical location of those chakras. But to overlay the chakras with human behavioral attributes such as contentment or love or generosity, that is radical. And that is Shri Mataji's gift for all of us now. Shri Mataji taught this form of meditation. She passed away in 2011. But the legacy that she created was that we can actually influence our behaviors. As Odessa mentioned, to be able to change behavior is not easy. And we now have this ability to unlock these abilities through meditation. It may be a long journey. For the slow learners like myself, it's a very long journey, but I'm sure you're faster than I am, and I wish you the very best.
Well, thank you. We are all on a journeys. It's not a competition. I think we all have our unique journeys,
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Everyone has a unique path.
Thank you,
Julia. And where are you joining us from, Julia?
Oh, where? I put it in the chat. I am in Dallas.
Dallas. Okay, great. All right. Do you speak any language other than English?
I am a Ukrainian American. So
Nice.
Ukrainian and Russian and German were my first languages. And of course, with everything what is going on in Ukraine right now, I meditate and I do yoga, and I'm really trying to be at peace, because those things are outside of my control.
It's very extreme what's happening now.
This is Anya, Julia. Thank you for being with us today. Also, let's also hear from Lisa. Lisa, how was your experience today?
It was pretty good. I wanted to ask, are the hand movements, are those what they would call mudras? Is that the word that you're saying, mudras?
I don't think
Shamik,
this
others.
specifically
Yeah, go ahead.
mudras. Yeah, Shamik.
Yeah, so just so Lisa, that technique as well is quite specific, because if you look at the research or the history of Sahaja Yoga meditation, Shri Mataji went to med school because she wanted to understand human behavior and how exactly the Kundalini would interact with different personality types. And so she came up with this series of steps that would help us bridge that gap between the physical self and the emotional self. So I would say this is the big difference between modern medicine and meditation, right? Modern medicine is really great. If I break my knee like I did a couple of years ago, if I have an accident, I would call for the ambulance and they'd do a great job of sewing it all up and putting me back on my feet. But the problem is, if I am trying to figure out how to achieve overall mind, body, spirit wellness, that's where modern medicine, there can be some gaps. And that's why these hand motions are very important, because they help us bring our attention to specific parts of the body that correspond to those energy centers. And that in turn influences the internal state, the emotional state inside, because the emotions are actually driving the outside. So unless we get to the root cause of emotional disturbances, we can't really peel back the onion and solve our deepest problems. I hope that kind of answers your question in a roundabout
I
way.
think the specific word she used was mudras. So mudras are actually the postures, actually. So, Odessa, you wanted to answer the posture part of it?
So I think by definition, a mudra is a hand movement that aids yoga, but it's also in dance, and I think it's in Buddhism and Jainism and Hinduism. You could probably call them mudras, but you don't have to do this or like anything else with your hands. I think a recent study came out called tapping. So if you tap somewhere on your body, it helps you calm down. Yeah, so it's associated with that. I think humans innately realize these things help. And something about Sahaja is that it's all very integrated. It makes sense intuitively. So usually scientific studies will kind of follow up these ideas, or they will eventually, like the tapping thing. That's pretty recent. And I honestly couldn't really explain how moving your hands could really have any effect within you. But like when you feel cool breeze on your hands, that is transmitting, right? It should be active because it's changing from hot to cold. It's some type of force that is working within you. And I find, this is kind of my theory, but I find most old knowledge in ancient religions or societies has a correspondence with a true kind of knowledge. And I think mudras and dancing are all symbolic of this kind of innate human thing, which comes from the Kundalini. That's my take, but yeah, it's not specifically a mudra. You could definitely call it that, though. I think that's how I would reply.
Awesome.
Thanks for your question. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. It does. I said, thanks for having this. This is awesome. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, nice.
Thanks, Lisa. And where are you joining us from, Lisa?
I'm in Georgia.
Atlanta?
Yes, Atlanta, Georgia.
Great. All right. All right. Thank you, Lisa, for joining. And of course, we have a lot of classes in Atlanta. Of course, we used to have before the pandemic, and now it's online. But yeah, I guess you shared your email ID, so I'll ask the local Atlanta folks to contact you in case anything in person starts up. Okay, all right, great. I just want to ask one question to everyone. We all kind of try to do meditation, and we are sort of spiritual inclination, underpinning of the Sahaja Yoga meditation. Do we kind of, some people look at us new age people, hippies? What's the perception of other people about you, Odessa?
Me?
Yeah. As a student, you doing meditation. I mean, some perception like meditation for the people who are over the hill kind of people, not for youngsters.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of my friends that meditate are half Indian, so they can get away with it. But because I'm white, it does seem very new agey. But I would like to distance myself from that because it's kind of weird. I'm not into that. But a lot of what I say probably sounds new agey because we're looking at the same text. Like, I mean, there's the stuff in New Age that is useful. Everything has merits and demerits. But I mean, I'm kind of aware of that myself. I'm not sure how people perceive me. I don't think I dress like a hippie. I mean, it's also blended up now. I'm not totally sure. People don't seem to think I'm a hippie unless I say something mystical. You know, if you mention meditation straight away, it's becoming more mainstream though. So maybe not as much as it used to.
Akhilesh,
It's easy for you. You're Indian.
yeah, let's hear from Akhilesh. Akhilesh, you meditating, do you tell that to your friends or you keep it top secret so that no one calls you some kind of new age person?
No, I tell my friends, I tell them they should meditate also, but all my friends, they call me a hippie. Obviously, they're doing it just to make fun of me, like just to annoy me. But I don't mind it. I just go along with it. But what I like to tell them and remind them is that, like, try to find your form of meditation. Some of them, they do like just putting their attention inside, like indirectly doing that before like a game or something, just to relax. So I just try to push the message across, saying that like meditation maybe isn't something so like hippie. It's a tool that we can use to better ourselves.
Thank you, Akhilesh. I think there's one question we like to take, and Shamik can answer that. Shamik, you've been practicing 20 years of this meditation, and did it have any long-term negative effects? Other than that, the fact you got married and your kids and you're peaceful, but any other negative effects of long-term meditation?
Long-term
Specifically about
negative
specifically about Kundalini awakening, actually.
Specifically about Kundalini awakening, I would have to say no. I haven't found any. I would have to say the list is all positive. And I may be biased, but yeah, I haven't found any long-term negative effects of meditation. It's been a positive journey, powerfully positive at that.
Other than the fact that he got married to somebody who practices meditation, I mean, that's only side effect he ever had.
That's good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It levels the playing field. It's funny
Levels
what
the
you
play.
About being classified like a hippie, so to say. And
Yeah, I married one, but anyway.
When I go tell people, "Oh, I'm going hiking," it was like, "Oh, you're just one of those tree huggers." I said, "Yes, I am."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. Maybe I should just own it. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Are you?
I like the hug trees.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
not too bad.
actually, I'm getting a feedback from Michelle. She's saying that some chiropractor told her that possibly it can cause this issue. But I think it's also a question of how did you learn it? One, there's a proper way of learning. Other, there's improper. Some people, some commercial form really kind of make it very awkward way of raising Kundalini, which is not appropriate at all. Okay, has to be done with the pure desire and the pure mindset. Then it will not have any issues. Like you attended session today, right? All we're saying is come in present, come in balance, and rest everything happens. I mean, regardless of we awaken or not, we all have Kundalini. So if God has placed, it has to be there for a beneficial reason. We just have to do it the right way. Okay, I think we really enjoyed this new age happy session. We all tree huggers here, so thank you for joining. I love that word, tree huggers. So I hope your trees grow well, and please join us back. For the 21 days course. It's starting on 4th of March. I'll just once again I'll put the link in case you missed. I'll just put it here. Please bookmark this session. This is the only page you need. Everything will be here. And I shared the WhatsApp group link. I would love to love to have all this young energy and young at heart energy in this group. So please join this WhatsApp group we have. And birthday 7th March, Lisa. Congratulations. I look forward to wish you a happy birthday on this group. Please join us. So thank you, Odessa, and thank you, Shamik. I hope we'll see you back soon. We'll have this, try to have this session again in March, just in case some of your friends miss and they like to have it to once again. But also actually we'll have this 21 days course. I know it's a long time, but in case you can commit, please try to do that. In everything in life needs commitment. So if you can, please try to do that, and it will really help you establish this habit of meditation. And I know you cannot commit every possible day, so we'll have a YouTube recording. It's on the same page that I put, so you never miss anything. All right. Thank you, everyone. Lovely participation. I hope we'll see you back soon. Bye. Namaste.
Thank you. Good night. Good afternoon.
Everyone,
Good night.
Thank
Good afternoon.